name and title first.
Lisa Rasmussen, Chairman of the Public Health and Safety Committee.
All right, awesome. So you talked about two main things tonight. The first being a waiver that was given to the Exhibitour event for a kind of walk and wine thing. And
Wine walk.
Wine
Yep.
walk, sorry.
Yep. Exhibitour actually was an event that was originally hosted by downtown businesses through WASA events. I want to say maybe 8 to 10 years ago. And at that point, they had to request the same waiver, but the state law was written such that wine walks and the waiver that we had to give to allow them to carry that wine out in the public right-of-way, it wasn't legal for us to give that waiver. And so a couple times when that event went through, we denied that waiver, and so those consuming wine at the event then either had to finish it at the galleries or pour it out and walk with an empty glass between the locations, which was not optimal for the logistics of the event. So the event kind of ran its course, and they didn't have it for a number of years. But since then, the state has changed the law, and they've created an enabling legislation that allows for wine walks, and it makes it legal for us to give the waiver that we gave them tonight. So Exhibitour is coming back in October, and it'll be run the way the original Exhibitours were. The event attendees will still have to be wristbanded to verify their age, but they will be able to have wine at the galleries that are participating with serving wine, and they'll be able to walk between them with their wine and not have to dump it out or consume it. So it'll be logistically a little easier for them to work with, and I think that'll be amenable to the organizers as well.
And what's the positive for the city in having Exhibitour come back with the change in the law?
Well, it's a great night for downtown Wausau. I mean, partly because the state law also changed the rules so that the businesses participating as art galleries can be open for commerce. And that was another sticking point with the original Exhibitour, is that the way the law was in the old days was that those galleries or those businesses hosting the art and the wine had to be closed, and they couldn't sell anything in connection with their business. And so for them to close for the night, they're losing the sales revenue to participate as a gallery. And that was not optimal for them. So with this change, they can be open. And so they can run their normal business and host the wine event. So that's the best of both worlds for them. It is a great night for downtown. It does attract a lot of people to downtown businesses. It may get people to stop in and visit a business they haven't been to before, and visit their favorites as well. And I think also wine walks on some level do bring tourism. And so, if people come to Wausau for that event and, stay and experience the downtown for the evening, that may cause them to want to come back and visit Wausau again. So, much like any other event that brings in, tourism and becomes a favorite of the locals, it's just a great night for downtown and for the River District to show itself off.
All right. Then the other main thing you talked about is that Applebee's is asking to change their parking. Can you kind of explain what they're asking for?
Applebee's has asked for a license amendment, and what they have is a Class B beer and liquor license, which any bar and grill or restaurant has to have. That license denotes on the license what the premises is that they can sell alcohol within. So if you have an outdoor seating area, you might include that area. A number of them do. But Applebee's has asked to include in their licensed area the car side to go parking stalls, which really enables them to sell alcohol through the window of a car that pulls in to pick up food. And so the committee was troubled by that tonight. They're not real excited about amending that premise to include a mixture of packaged alcohol and cars, because obviously you're handing it to the driver. Normally the sale of alcohol should happen face to face. The person should exit the vehicle, go inside. They can purchase sealed containers to carry out, but they need to be seen by a licensed bartender who can ascertain, whether or not they should be served, verify their age, and the idea of cars and alcohol trying to keep some distance between one another, sending a sealed container through a car window to someone who drives off just is a terrible visual. So, we would like to talk to someone from Applebee's. They weren't present tonight. So next month, we held action on it because next month, they may want to come in and talk with us about, what their motivation is for wanting this. No other restaurant has even requested such a thing. We believe that it's a test market that they're running in Wisconsin to see which communities might be amenable. But the committee was not real excited to open up that premise. If they had a outdoor seating area and they wanted to serve outside, we would likely have no problem with that. But it's the whole parking stall, car side vibe that really was troubling. So we're not going to do anything on it yet. We're going to talk with them next month. If If they're not in attendance next month, you know, that will tell us a lot. I mean, they weren't here tonight, so, but if they're here, we'd be happy to hear from them.
And can you explain some of the concerns about setting precedent with the potential change in their license?
Well, we have an awful lot of restaurants that offer takeout and curbside pickup, and you know, takeout parking stalls that are designated for the purpose of pickup and carry out food. Assuming that this would take off and the idea becomes somewhat of a novelty, where it's something that one restaurant has that the other, you know, 15 don't, I could foresee that there would be a number of these similar requests. And if you try to take them on a case-by-case basis, I think the trouble with that is that you run the risk of being perceived as subjective in the way you've approved some but not others, and yet all of them or none of them may be suited to even conduct that type of operation. So we need to know more, but our initial reaction was that we were a little skeptical of even going down that road.